And we are live, queuing up the theme song, Reality Spirituality. Here we go.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLM? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality.
Oh, now we getting real.
Time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, happiness specialist, inner peace practitioner, oracle, student, but most importantly, I said student already. Student, ongoing student. There is never a break, no vacations. Happiness specialist. Who the hell does she think she is? That's impossible. Happiness. The word is joy, not happiness. I've heard it all. And let me be very clear. When I say happiness, I'm talking about a personal vibration, a personal energy of contentment, of peace and contentment, regardless of what happens, regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of what your neighbor does, regardless of what your husband, your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend does, regardless. How do you maintain and scratch that? Is it possible to maintain and sustain an energy, a personal energy of contentment? Yes. It doesn't matter what happens, and you can still keep achieving and doing and be all of that. But the energy, the personal energy is a foundation, is foundational. It's like setting your temperature gauge in your house to, I don't know, 68, 65, 70 degrees. It's just like that. What temperature? In fact, I forgot my prop. It's in the kitchen. Pretend this is an orange. If I'm squeezing on this orange, I can't believe I forgot the orange. If I'm squeezing this orange, the only thing that's going to come out is orange juice. It seems obvious. And it doesn't matter who's squeezing or what's squeezing it, whatever is squeezing it, you will only get orange juice out of an orange. So that whatever is inside is going to come out and has nothing to do with external circumstances. But let me give you my definition of happiness. I define happiness as the ability to maintain and sustain an energy of peace and contentment, regardless of what happens. And that doesn't mean you walk around with your head in the sand. And that doesn't mean that you walk around blinders on. It means that whatever life throws at me, and that's uncontrollable. Whatever life throws my way, I am going to be able to hit a home run out of the park. And it takes practice. Happiness is a practice skill. Contentment is a practiced skill, just like being an athlete, a professional athlete, a chef, landscaper. It's a practice. And the practice is never ending. You don't have days off. You don't have time off. You don't get vacations. You don't get breaks. It is a constant practice. And the interesting thing about this practice is I believe everybody's going to get there and realize it. It just depends on when. When I was in my 20s, 30s, what I valued, when I say what I valued is absolutely nothing like what I value now at 70. Don't tell anybody. at 70 years old. The what I believe is that everybody will experience what I'm sharing today, which is, in fact, let me just, this is a study. You can Google it. It's called The 5 Most Common Regrets of the Dying. And it was done by a hospice nurse. Her name is Bronnie Ware. And she asked her patients who had days to live, weeks to live, months to live, what are your 5 biggest regrets? And the 5th regret is, I wish I would have been happier. It's not about it. The quote is, you cannot have a happy ending to an with an unhappy journey, to an unhappy journey. You cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. Someone gave me this. It falls under the same topic of the 5 most common regrets of the dying. It says, every single time at the end, say you're on your deathbed. How's that for an uplifting thought? You're on your deathbed. You don't regret the emails that you didn't send. You don't regret the laundry that was left unfolded. You don't regret missing one more meeting. You don't regret, people at the end of their lives don't talk about productivity. They talk about things like, I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I stayed close to the people that really matter. But the last one is, I wish I would have let myself be happier. And I contend that most will get to that. We'll get to that realization. And it is about the journey. And how do you maintain an energy of contentment, regardless of what life is throwing at you? And the answer is with practice. When I say happiness specialist, I've been teaching the Truth About Happiness classes in California, in Oregon, and now I'm in Nevada. And this class, I'm starting my 9th semester. This class in Nevada, it is attended by, believe it or not, senior citizens, people that are in their late 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I had a couple of students last semester in their 90s, still looking for, still seeking, still wanting to know more about this thing called happiness. And again, it is a practice. It is a practice, and it is an energy. It is a personal energy. But I hand out homework, and it's really fascinating that people, this gentleman is in his 80s. And the first question is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is happiness in your life? Second question, what is your definition of happiness? Third question, what or who is subtracting from your happiness today? Are you as happy when you're faced with life's inevitable challenges? And then these are yes or no questions. Number 1, can other people hurt your feelings? That's a question for you. Can other people hurt your feelings? Can other people offend you? Can people disappoint you? Do you blame your circumstances for how you feel? So let me give you a little answer to the test right off the bat. You're welcome. Can other people hurt your feelings? Can other people disappoint you? Now, one of the things that I practice, in fact, there are 56, well, there's more than that now, 58, but 56 program behaviors that have been proven to subtract from this energy, from this vibration of happiness, peace, and contentment. 56, that's a lot. That's a lot of programming. In fact, look what I have here. My latest book, called Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth, I list 56 program behaviors in this book. I also list other behaviors that will add to your happiness. But let me just share this about being disappointed. I promise you, you will never, if you practice this, you will never get your feelings hurt. You will never be disappointed. You will never have a heartbreak ever again. You want to know what the practice is? And it's not an easy one. Eliminate all expectations. What did she say? Eliminate all expectations. All expectations are responsible for heartbreak and disappointment. And what I hear back is, well, that's really hard to do. Yes, this practice is not easy. The rewards are indescribable. The end game, not the end, the results of never being disappointed or having your heart break or having your heart broken, that's an easy one, meaning it's an easy solution. Harder practice, but an easy solution. So can other people disappoint you? Not if you don't have expectations. Can other people hurt your feelings? Not if you're responsible for your feelings, and you are. See, this practice takes place in a very uncomfortable setting, and that's in the mirror. The mirror, it's not about someone else. It's not about what the world is throwing at you. It's not about anybody else but you. And that's one of the biggest programs that believes, the programming that believes and blames other people, or other people's behavior determines how I'm going to feel. I said it's a practice. Let me just share something. This person is definitely, I think, mid 80s, 84. What is subtracting from your happiness today? And this wonderful, lovely lady, 84, says no love life. And this is another programming. This is another program believing that someone else, someone other than self, someone other than you can fill yourself, can fill you up. The filling, the filling, not feeling, the filling up has nothing to do with someone else. But we've been programmed, scratch that. I was programmed to believe that, yes, it is about another person, another partner, another relationship. Because over the years, I'm 70 now, don't tell anybody. Over the years, what has happened is a letting go of a lot of people that were grandfathered in. Grandfathered in, meaning that, yeah, they're family, I'm stuck. Yes, I've been knowing them for decades, I'm stuck. Meaning stuck with the relationship. And what I have been practicing is not to, conversations, forget that. Forget a conversation unless the person is on the same conscious level. I call them either you're civil, so either you are a civilian, which with absolutely no concept of another realm of consciousness or spirituality. Those are civilians. But unless dealing with having a conversation with someone who doesn't get these concepts of different dimensions. When I say different dimensions, meaning, did you know, this is what I learned last week, that a crow isn't black, that it only appears to be black because of the lighting, because of it's mostly lighting. Because on this video, they show different lightings, and crows have a lot of different colors. And it's the same with trying to communicate with people that don't speak the same language. Boy, that was going around on a tangent. But the point is, knowing your audience and knowing what you can let me just say what, knowing my audience and knowing what I can share and what is 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 understandable at a different level. So there's a different level from grammar school to high school to college level. So relating to people where they are, relating to people or speaking to people, having a conversation, because there's certain things I wouldn't even talk to some people about, only because it's like speaking a different language. The answer, this woman, 84 years old, can other people hurt your feeling at 84? Yes. Can other people offend you? Yes. Can other people disappoint you? Yes. Do you blame your circumstances? I am widowed, not by choice. It's hard to find a quality partner. Well, the whole answer to that is the relationship that I have with God, source, universe, whatever term you want to use, that relationship is the number one relationship. That relationship with the energy, with the entity that creates worlds. That is the primary relationship. These relationships with humans, and I say that respectfully, humans. No, no, no. The relationship, with humans is challenging only because, number one, the experiences are different. If I use a word respect, which is another program, but if I use that word, it's going to have a different connotation. It's going to have a different meaning to someone else. In fact, in my world, I don't use it, don't need it. Could care less about anybody respecting me. That's another level of practice. But back to this 84-year-old woman. The problem and the challenge is always the same. And that is the programming. The programming that I've received, that you've received, it is the programming that is the challenge, not the challenge itself. It's the conclusion of, what does this mean? What meaning am I going to place on it? And do you know that everything is meaningless, that humans put a meaning on all of it? Otherwise, it's meaningless. And that's a hard concept to accept. That's a hard concept to live with, but it's the truth. Think about what you put a lot of meaning behind in this moment. What is it that means? What is it that you have, scratch that. What is it that you think is meaningful? And in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, it's going to be meaningless. In fact, even sooner than that. So the world teaches, the program is meaningful. This is meaningful. And in reality, this put your seatbelt on. In reality, all of this is meaningless. All of it, including this conversation, including what I'm doing right now. And what I'm doing right now is just sharing what I've learned and sharing what works as far as maintaining that personal energy of contentment. But today's topic is, I just remembered it. Today's topic is an infinite number of perspectives. An infinite number of perspectives. And what do I mean by that? It doesn't It doesn't matter what you are going through. It doesn't matter what you are experiencing. It doesn't matter the stories or the thoughts that the ego, that the mind has going over and over, has you going over and over and over and contemplating. If I cannot, scratch that, when I do not practice, looking for, finding another perspective about the same challenge, the same situation, when I practice only keeping or only focusing on one perspective, guess what? There's no way out of the box. There's no way out of the closet. There's no way out of the corner with just one perspective. And in fact, I wrote this down. Where is it? Oh, how can you analyze something with only one perspective? How can you break free of, how can you energetically break free of something with only one perspective? And the mind, AKA the ego, will only offer one perspective. And in fact, I challenge you, doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter the topic. When I find the brain, the mind going in loops and loops and loops with the same thoughts and the same stories, and listen, this mind does not is averse to peace. It's an aversion. It does. I wrote it down. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Oh, the mind does not want peace. Ever. The mind tries to find meaning in a world that is meaningless. That's a tough one. The mind tries to find meaning in a world that is meaningless. And I get it. There is a purpose. There is a universal purpose for all of it. But as far as the meaning, that is all a program. That is all a programmed belief, thought, story. So getting back to the perspectives, an infinite amount of perspectives, an infinite number of perspectives. When I practice staying open and knowing and trusting and believing that there's more than one perspective, guess what? The walls, the tunnel is not so, which is limiting, opens up. And when there is openness, there is more lightness. And I don't mean light like bright light. I mean a light energy as opposed to a heavier energy. Notice that I'm not saying good or bad. There is a lighter energy as opposed to heavy. It's just like comparing an ice cube to running water. It's just more solid. And so that state of lightness and of openness and remaining open to all different possibilities and all different perspectives and all different ways of looking at it. And it's not only remaining open to it, but always practicing. There's another way I can look at this. The answer is always yes. The answer is always yes. There is always more than one perspective. But I don't know about you. I was taught just to find one, stick with it. That's right. It's right. But staying open. And in fact, let me share another answer. This is just homework. Who or what is subtracting from your happiness today? And the answer that this person said is expectations. And then the person said politics. Now, here we go. If you are allowing anything external, let me just throw politics in there. If you are allowing politics to muddy up, let me use the word muddy up your energy, especially when you don't have control over you have zero control, none, especially when you allow something that you have no control over to dictate emotions and feelings, you are just demonstrating what a programmed robot does. If you are programmed and you don't recognize it, guess what? The program, it becomes your identity. The programming becomes beliefs. It is the programming. And when I say programming, let me give you an example. I've used this example a million times. So, question, do you worry? And usually 90% of the population, yeah, I worry, of course, it's normal. Well, it's not normal to worry. That's another example of a program. You didn't come here, you weren't born knowing how to worry. And the worrying comes from lack of practicing trust. The worrying comes from lack of practicing trust. And the worry is such a deep program that people just snap into it without even realizing, myself included. And I'm not talking about worrying, but I'm talking about, let me just say, judgment, judging. I mean, it is a snap, instant. It's a takeover. I call it a body takeover. It's a takeover. And when the awareness, because there requires, the practice requires being aware. And when I am aware that there is a takeover, there is a program takeover, guess what? Just like a robot, the practice is to transcend the programming. And how do you do that? With, number one, with commitment, with focus, with will, with daily, scratch the daily, moment by moment practice. In fact, I'll tell you what happened this morning. I was at the gym, and either you're compatible energy or you're not. Energy is either compatible with each other or they're not. An elephant isn't going to be compatible with a fish, or a bird isn't going to be compatible with an alligator. So I'm talking about just compatible energy. And there are people, here we go. There are people that Rebecca, you see how I'm doing Rebecca as the third person, that Rebecca just, there's just a little rub. There's just a little, it's just not a smooth sailing. There's just a little, but with that, what I know is that whenever I feel a resistance or little bump or little trigger, a little button pushed, guess what? Now I know that I have homework. Now I know that I've triggered something within me that is mirroring back. So the sun shines on the serial killer and the Pope. The sun shines on all. The sun shines on the murderer. The sun shines on God's sun shines on all. And the practice is acceptance of all. But I can't accept all if I'm not accepting all of this, including the programming, recognizing the programming. So today there's a gentleman that doesn't come every day, but came in today. And then as soon as, this is 6 a.m. in the morning, Oh, as soon as he saw me, here comes trouble. Well, I admit. But for some reason, scratch that. But for the best reason, that sentence just, yeah. And being mindful and being aware, I knew that that sentence, that statement that bothered and or triggered Rebecca was there for a reason, was there for a purpose. And when I'm just mindlessly drifting through the journey, as opposed to staying consciously aware of everything and practicing accepting whatever kind of comment, it just indicated that you got more practice. Because there comes trouble. And this is how I know I was resisting. Here we go. This is how I know I was resisting. I didn't say anything. I was quiet. Here comes trouble. Now, there's really nothing to respond to that. And I chose not to respond. Here comes trouble. And on any other day, any other different vibration that I was emitting would have been nothing. But for there is no reason other than the universe says, okay, it's time to practice transcending. It's time to practice being above any kind of comment. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say, let me see, what's this? I didn't say anything. And then it was, here we go. Did you hear what I said? Now I'm stuck. Having to respond. Did you hear what I said? I didn't respond to that either. I just said good morning to someone else. You see how the mind and the ego just never wants peace? And this may sound, who knows how it's going to sound to someone else, but you know what I'm talking about, these little teeny triggers, this attention getter, this attention whore, this attention getter. And then finally, I just had to give up, surrender, and say, yeah, that's funny. Ha. But I'm either flowing or I'm resisting in every single moment. And you know, and I know that the flow is universal. And the resisting is all mind. That flowing is universal, and the resistance all comes from the mind and the ego living in the past. So I've already got a whole list of I was going to say complaints, a whole list of how this person and their energy, it doesn't flow. But the truth is that gentleman that the Rebecca claims not to flow with is another version of Rebecca. And everything that someone else does that Rebecca wants to judge or to analyze in a not so pleasing way, it's just like having a pea under the mattress. It is always felt. The resistance is always felt. But let me get back to the topic, which is finding another perspective. Finding another perspective about that. Finding another perspective about resisting. resisting the moment. And another perspective is there is a purpose for everything that I am going to experience. There is a purpose and a reason for all of my experiences. There is a purpose and a reason for all what Rebecca deems to be a challenge. There is a purpose and a reason for everything. But the mind resists everything. The mind picks and chooses. The mind has preferences. The mind, scratch that, a program has program preferences. And it is only with the contrast, it is only with the struggle, it is only with the challenge. I'm speaking for myself. It is only with the challenge I am able to do a quick reflection, look at with the mirror, look at and find a solution and come up with another perspective, which is thank you, kind. Here comes trouble. Thank you, kind sir, for giving me for providing an opportunity for growth, for providing me with an opportunity to come up with a different way of responding. I'm either reacting or responding, and know that when you're reacting to life, it is all based on a program. Anytime that it's just instant, I go into an instant, it's always a program. All programs, you can tell. It's just like like a reflex. You hit your elbow right on the, you hit your elbow with the rubber hammer, you hit your knee with the rubber hammer, and the elbow and the arm goes up, or the knee goes straight. That's all programmed. So practice is to be mindful of what is a reaction and what is a response. And a response requires awareness, self-awareness, pausing, asking the questions. This is a question that I like to ask myself. Do I have an agenda? Is what I'm going to say, is there an agenda attached to it? Is there an intention? And the intention could be noble. The intention can be that I'm teaching or sharing with an end to teach. I'm sharing with an end to teach. Oh, they need to know this. All of that is under the umbrella of having an agenda. All agendas are programmed. If you want to ask a question, you're on YouTube, you can ask a question on YouTube Live. The chat is open. Is the chat open? Yes, the chat is open. Back to the perspectives, and an infinite amount of perspectives. This world, with all its billions of people in it, the practice, well, what I see a lot is there is one perspective. Somebody will have one opinion, one perspective, and they ride it forever. They ride that perspective forever. And that is right. This is in class last week. Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you. The practice comes from being so open that all perspectives can be accepted. We are as different as our fingerprints. We are as different as the stars. We are as different as the different variety of trees. And so the problem comes thinking that my opinion, when I say opinion, my view is the only way. And that will keep me stuck. It's the only way. It's the only way I can view it. And I have to say, at 70, did I say I was 70 now? Don't tell anybody. Shh. 70. There are so many different perspectives that I've just had to let go of, because there's even more. How can I hold on to one perspective, especially when that perspective doesn't feel universal and doesn't feel like it's in a flow state? Hey, good morning, Jay. So, and Jay, one of the things that we've done in the decades that we've known each other is coming up with a perspective of, my whole thing about what is the state of the world. And you just ask that one question: what is the state of the world? And the answer will always reflect what's going on inside of the person. The answer that is given always reflects of what's going on inside. I know that's nobody wants to hear that. But it is a practice just to what I say and share is everything is in order. Do I understand it? Do I comprehend? Can I even grasp it? No, but everything in nature is all in order. And everything, even in this human, is all in order. But the mind, the ego, does not finds disorder, finds problems, finds everything that's unpeaceful. Well, everything can't be peaceful. That doesn't even make any sense. What kind of person are you anyway? Head in the sand. You just live in a cave. In class last week, I shared that I don't watch the news, and boy, oh boy, all of the comments about how uninformed I am. You can be informed for me. There's nothing that I need to know about something that I have zero control over. And the other truth is, my contribution, what I believe my contribution to this planet, is my personal energy, is my personal vibration of peace. That's my contribution. And listen, there's enough people that are watching the news and got to watch it and got to share it. Got to share bad news. If you're watching bad news, you got to share it. Anyway, not laughing. So the perspective comes back to, I don't care what challenge you are facing. I don't care what circumstances you find yourself in. There's more than just one way to look at the situation. There's more than one. And the practice is to keep looking, keep finding. And even if I can't find another perspective right off the bat like that, guess what? I trust and I know that there's more than one. And that automatically just brings another level, just a shift in energy, just another shift. An elevated, meaning a lighter practice, or you can, when I say practice, try it yourself. Whatever you find yourself in. Let me give you another example. So I'm in the middle of an 8-year, can you believe it? 8-year legal battle. 8 years. That's a long time. And it used to be, well, let me say this. I remember when all of this started in 2018. Is it 8 years? 2018. There was no thought of this going on for 8 years. And now that it is going on for 8 years, who knows? I've gotten to a place where it doesn't matter how long it takes. This legal problem could even outlive me. And it's letting go of this idea that this should be over. This should be done. If it's happening, it's supposed to be happening for a reason, to practice transcending, letting it go. And then the other practice comes, Is there a level of contentment and peace with this hanging over, with this cloud? And I'm not going to be using it as dark cloud, but there's a cloud. There's a cloud of, okay, this isn't resolved. And the universe hit me with this the other day. They said, listen, if you can't find peace and contentment with all of these unresolved issues, you'll never find it. There's always going to be some kind of and when I say unresolved, I'm talking about in the mind. The mind finds things that are unresolved issues, and the mind will not want to look for another perspective. In fact, get stuck and tell the mind, or tell the ego the same thing. Tell the mind, hey, give me another perspective. And you know what you'll hear from the mind? Silence. Silence. You won't hear a word. That's how tricky, and that's how the mind is just so consumed with discontent. It's its fuel, it's its food. You're not going to be able to find peace with this mind, because that's not what it does. It looks, that's not what it does. That's not what it feeds on. That's not what it's made up of. And when I know that, it is, because I watch it constantly, witness. And that's the other practice. Witness this mind, witness it, as opposed to identifying with it. Witness it. Loops this story after this story, more and more and more and more. It never shuts up, unless, hey, give me another perspective. I know this is here. This challenge is here for me to transcend. I know this challenge is here for me to practice acceptance. I know this challenge is here for me to be more patient. I know this challenge is here to get me to another level of consciousness. I know that. Yay. Give me another perspective, mind. You won't hear a peep. Silence. And that's how you know. That's how you know. And that's how I know I'm being held captive. I might as well be in a prison cell, and the warden is the mind. I've said that before. The mind, the warden is the mind. The mind is the warden. And at this stage, I refuse to be a prisoner of this limited mind of discontent. The mind is always saying there's something more that should be happening in this moment. There is never any peace. The mind is always in this state of discontent, dissatisfaction. More. But that's what it is. No hating on it, no judging, but I know what I'm dealing with. And the mind is not there that I have found, the mind is not there for me to, okay, well, this will be no. And it's going back to identifying with either the human, the doer, the one that's always active, or the other identity, which is the witness observing the doer. Or then there's another entity, which is just all presence. And that's who all of us are, is presence, having a human experience. And my job is to enjoy the ride. My job is to enjoy the ride. My purpose is to enjoy this journey. As uncomfortable as, when I say uncomfortable, it's the mind saying that's uncomfortable. You follow me? The mind, oh, that's uncomfortable. That doesn't feel good. Oh, ride all the feelings. One of my favorite quotes from Guy Finley. He says, the feel is real. Feel all of it. Feel all of the emotions. But the why is a lie. The feel is real, but the why is a lie. I'm just sharing to be, scratch that, to practice being more aware and just watch the mind go. Just watch it. Now I let it go. It's like putting it on one of those leashes, those dogs that have the extended leashes. It just goes and it goes and it goes and it goes and it doesn't stop. But no hating on it, but I know its purpose. And it's not to bring me any peace. So ask the mind, I challenge you, ask the mind the next time you feel stuck in a situation and you can only view it one way. In fact, I was speaking with someone a couple of weeks ago, and they said, I'm depressed. I'm feeling depressed. I'm going through a state of depression. That's what was said. And I said, "Oh, give me another perspective. Who came up with that diagnosis? Give me another perspective." And there was, what do you mean another perspective? That's it. I'm depressed. That's it. And I challenge you, my dear audience, I challenge every single one of you to practice coming up with another perspective. And if it doesn't come right away, if it doesn't just roll off your tongue or just pop out, just trust and know that there is. And know that you are being served, and you are being served, and you are being shown, scratch the shown, and you are being put in this situation to get to another level of understanding, of peace, of consciousness, of awareness, of another level of realizing that who you really are is presence in a human form with curly hair. That's the end of the day's show. Infinite there's a quantum in a quantum. Yes, infinite. Different dimensions, different universes all over. I mean, just this little speck of time. And time isn't even real either. Yikes, don't get me started on that one. My quote of the day is, and this is my quote of the day. The quote of the day is, watch me mess it up. Everything has a universal purpose. Everything has a universal purpose, but none of it has meaning. Wait. I got to smooth it out. I have to really come back. Everything has a universal purpose, but everything is meaningless. Something like that. Some acknowledgement that all of this stuff that you're going through, I'm going through, you're experiencing, I'm experiencing, is meaningless. How about that? Have a nice day. Have a nice meaningless day. Oh, that's really funny. Have a meaningless day. I think I may start saying that. Knowing me, if I don't forget, I will. Well, that's the end of today's show. I want to thank you for listening. Reality Spirituality Radio is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Follow me on X at RL Norrington. I'm on LinkedIn. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. YouTube channel, like and subscribe. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, is on Amazon. That was published in 2014. But my latest book, the one that was published in 2024, Program for Unhappiness. It's on Amazon. Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. And in this book, I list 56 program behaviors, getting rave reviews. Oh, by the way, this pushes buttons, this triggers, and it does push buttons. I was just told that a couple of the students purchased the book and read it. Yeah, this is not it's an easy read, But the truth is just truth. And in this book, I also list 26, is it 26 behaviors that add happiness? Let me see. I forget. 26 non-program behaviors that add to happiness. Book number 3 is going to be called Questions, Answers, and Quotes. And book number 4 is going to be titled Program Relationships. Anyway, until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who the hell you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. Your conscious energy, which is always evolving, always changing. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind by accepting yourself in every moment. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly. How about this for a fake smile? With yours truly, happiness specialist, inner peace practitioner, Rebecca L. Norrington. Remember, happiness is a practice skill, and I promise you, the more you practice, the more peace you're going to find. And in every moment, each moment reflects on what you practice. Have a conscious week. Practice finding more than one perspective.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah.
It's a new experience.
Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. You got a question for
RLN.
It's time to get some answers, baby.
Oh, now we getting real. What's up, my baby?